Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you very much. You can be seated. Thank you. Thank you. It is indeed an honor and privilege to be back up here in Manchester again um, and to speak to the fine folks of New Hampshire. In just a few days, few short days, you'll be making a critical decision, and that is to vote for your vote in the primary for President of the United States. And that's important. That's an important vote, something that you should take very seriously. And I know that you've had your fair share of candidates come up here and tell you uh, what their platform is. Some have told you that from day one they want to be a dictator. Some have told you other things. Today, I want to lay out for you my agenda and what we've done in the last 4 years and what we're going to be doing this next go around. And to me, it's more about saying that on day one, I'm going to be a dictator. I will make you this promise here this afternoon. On day one, I will be a president, not a dictator. You know, in the last 3 years, our nation has faced trials that tested our resilience from the relentless grip of an unprecedented pandemic to the growing polarization. We have weathered storms that have challenged our unity. This afternoon, I stand before you not just as a leader, but as a fellow citizen, ready to outline a vision to restore America to the pinnacle of its former glory. In the past 3 years, we've accomplished significant progress, witnessing a remarkable reduction in unemployment from a staggering 15.5% during the pandemic to now just slightly below 4%. Think about that. Think about every American who is back at work. The pandemic shut this country down. It put hundreds of thousands and millions of people out of work. And in the past 3 years, we've brought the unemployment down from, think about it, 15% of our nation was without a job. We were locked in. Our economy was on the brink. And in these 3 short years, what we've done is brought the economy back around. We brought unemployment rates down. We've got the pandemic back in the rearview mirror of this nation. We're moving forward. One of the things that I'm committed to, and I saw this happen during the pandemic, is we are committed to overhauling the unemployment system in our country. No longer will it be a system susceptible to exploitation and being taken advantage of. You've heard me talk about it quite often. A new enhanced unemployment system will mandate that there will be a minimum of 5 job interviews per week for benefits, ensuring that every able-bodied American is presented with ample opportunities for gainful employment. And I mean that. Every able-bodied American. And when I speak of that, let me make this clear afternoon. I'm excluding our seniors and stay-at-home parents. I'm addressing those who, despite the waning of the pandemic, opted for unemployment and have not returned to the workforce. This status quo needs to change, and under my leadership, you have my word, it will. You think about the Department of Labor and BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, released a staggering number just a few months ago. For every American in this country, there are 1.6 jobs available. Think about it in this room, right here, right now. Every one of us have 1.6 jobs available. Why aren't we doing it? Why aren't we going out getting those jobs? Why are we continuing to rely on government benefits? That needs to stop. The other thing that needs to stop is the astronomical cost of prescription drugs. It's just a policy. It's not just a policy point, but it's a moral imperative. It's unjust for individuals to bear the burden of paying hundreds of dollars for medications they need, while we have big pharma over here raking in millions of dollars in profits and making immense profits off of this. We need to put that to a stop. I've heard countless story after countless story of people paying hundreds of dollars for medication they need. It's not an option, it's medication they need. Why do we continue to do this? Under my administration, that will come to an end. Shifting our focus to the issue of the border, and let me affirm that the United States welcomes people. We always have, and we always will. But it must occur through the proper channels, not through unauthorized crossings. We will diligently reestablish our border control to ensure the order and security. We have to. In order for there to be a nation, we have to have borders in place. It's time for us to prioritize the border now. When I visited the border just almost a year ago now, I went down to the International Bridge in El Paso, and it really surprised me that the number of people who were coming into this country legally by the right means. Not to mention just down the road a few miles were several thousand people coming into other people's property, coming into this country illegally. I got a dear friend of mine who is one of my pastors. This gentleman came to the United States from Ghana. He didn't come into this country. He just didn't fly into Texas and establish a home. He went through the proper channels and is well on his way to becoming a U.S. citizen. On the global stage, as a stalwart champion of democracy, the United States must protect democratic values. And that starts with our schools. Education reform stands as a pivotal cornerstone of our nation's restoration. Our classrooms should be sanctuaries of learning, not a political battleground. Education should pivot back to fundamentals, teaching history objectively to prevent repeating past mistakes. With a personal understanding of the challenges faced by educators, and you all know that I'm married to one, and I've been married to one going on almost 3 decades, I recognize the need to increase teacher pay while acknowledging it is a state level matter, and I get it. I understand that New Hampshire here handles teacher pay, but what my administration wants to do is to facilitate increases for every teacher in this country. And I want to do this without encroaching upon their autonomy. I don't want to be another Washington power grab and say we're going to control teacher pay. What I want to do is help facilitate the increases in teacher pay. Back to basics will do that. And that's one of the things that we'll do. I want to make teaching a profession you're proud of. That's one of the reasons Andrea got in teaching. She got in it as a calling. So many people get into teaching now because they think they had this illusion that it's a 7:15 to 3:45 job with summers off, and they quickly find out it's not the case. It's not the case. It's 80 hours a week. I can tell you it's 80 hours a week, and it's commitment to your students. It's commitment through the hard times. It's commitment to the good times. It's commitment of being there every day and of teaching your students. And some of them don't realize that in the classrooms, and they're very classrooms, be it in pre-K, being in kindergarten all the way through 12th grade, and even in college and universities. They don't realize that sitting in those classrooms are our future leaders. Our next generation of leaders are in those classrooms. And it's important that we restore patriotism to the classrooms. We should take pride in every morning and saying our nation's pledge, our state pledge, and even singing the Star Spangled Banner. We need to bring that back to our schools. And we need to enforce fundamentals like history and the ABCs. It's not just a campaign slogan, but an imperative that we reject the decisive influences of woke education. We need wokeness out of our schools. My education plan is aptly called Back to Basics, and it aims to support teachers, provide quality education, and prepare students for the future by depolarizing the classroom and taking out the politics of the classroom. It has no place in our classroom. The only politics that belong in school is student council elections. And the other thing too, we need to learn to respect one another. Respect forms the bedrock of the United Nation. We've borne witness to violent divisions, families shattered by gun violence. We advocate for gun reform, and I've come to a podium time and time and time again and said, my thoughts and prayers are with the family of the victims today of a shooting. And I've come to this podium to say that way too many times. And way too many times, Congress has said, oh, we're going to take action on gun control, or we're going to do this. It's to the point now that we keep saying we're going to do it, we're going to do it. It's time for us to do it. And we can do this without infringing on rights of our citizens and stay within bounds of the Constitution. One of the things that we need to do is increase mental health support for those in need. I firmly believe that one of the key problems in our nation with gun violence is the mental health of our citizens. We need to get the help for those in need. We really do. And under my administration, I pledge to you, we will have increased mental health funding. We will have increased spending in education. Those are the bedrocks of the future of this nation. The plan I unveiled here this afternoon, just briefly to you, it's not merely a policy agenda. It's the opening chapter in our journey to restore the greatness of the United States. And I firmly believe this, that if we just sit down and recognize that every single one of us in this country are different. We're different. We're from different backgrounds. We're from different countries. We have different beliefs. It's time for us to sit down with our fellow men, understand those backgrounds, understand those beliefs, and begin to work together. And if we do that, there is nothing at all this nation can accomplish. I can guarantee you that. If we come together as one, we will be an unstoppable nation in the world. We'll be a country that other nations will look upon as like they are the United States of America, not just in word, but in true meaning. And I really appreciate your time this afternoon. I know you have an important choice to make on Tuesday at the primary, and it's an honor and a privilege to be with you here today. And I would just like to end with, may God bless you, and may God bless our brave troops, and may God bless the United States of America. Together, let us embark on this transformative journey toward a stronger, more united nation. Thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.